So Tiyul-Rihla, which is a trip in Hebrew and Arabic. But the name doesn't really capture the idea because we're not just doing trips, we're doing historical tours. So the basic idea is teach Israelis and Palestinians the history of the land and each other. Break down misconceptions, figure out what there is to learn and what people don't know.
The project was first conceived in 2011 in June in a joint meeting between Israelis, Palestinians, and internationals. We all felt that we need to get to know each other better on a deep, meaningful level, not a person to person, but more understanding the background of your society versus my society, filling the gaps of our misunderstanding. So we started with a first trip in Israel, which lasted 2 days with West Bank Palestinians and native Israelis. It was such a huge success that we decided to repeat the same model, this time 2 days in the West Bank, Jericho and Bethlehem. New participants, new faces. Again, big success. And now we're done with trip 5 already.
These aren't political tours. We're not taking people to see the wall. We're not taking people to, see Nakba villages. So before we can get to the discussion, before we can get to the conversation about politics, we need to understand that we all live in this conflict. That everyone needs to understand the same history and also needs to understand the other side a little bit better.
It's difficult. It's problematic if you're a Palestinian. You don't want to be perceived as a cooperative or someone who goes over to Israel to have 2 days of fun traveling with Israelis. There's an anti-normalization trend. So I actually posed the question, did it feel like normalization to you? Are we trying to make friends? Is this a trip of fun? And I was happy to hear, not just from the organizers, but also from the participants, that maybe for some of them, some aspects were fun, but actually we're challenging both sides. We're posing difficult questions, we're kind of pushing each other. So yeah, we do an activity together, but the main idea is not to have fun, but rather to investigate.
One of the participants said he now knows that just as much as it offends him to hear that people don't think there's such thing as Palestinians, he now knows that Israelis feel it offends them when they hear that the Jewish people are not a people. Some Israelis probably came to the same realization about him and the Palestinians.
You might go home a little bit more confused, a little bit more sophisticated. You might reevaluate your understanding, and I think it'll change. First of all, your curiosity would grow. You would start looking into the conflict a bit more deeply. You might keep in touch with people of the other side. You might become a bit more pacified. Once you understand that the conflict is complex, it's not simplistic, there's no one solution, I think your whole attitude, your whole approach would change. So I think our mission with this trip is to show that the conflict is not what you thought it was.